What's up, everyone? This is going to be my wild card weekend game picks. As I've said already, I've missed the last couple of weeks of game picks. Sorry about that, but I was busy with the holidays and looking for houses with the wife. And if you guys are curious, we got an offer accepted for a house that we absolutely loved. So there's still some obstacles to go through, inspection, all that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed it all goes through. But if it does, you're looking at a brand new homeowner come June.
We do not care.
If I look a little stiff, that's because I got the Batman neck going on a little bit. Slept a little awkwardly, so I swear to God, when you turn 30, everything really does change. Anyways, enough about me. Just to catch you guys up, in week 16, I went 13-3, my best record all season. In week 17, I went a 10-6, not the best. And in week 18, I went my good old average old-fashioned 11-5. So if you've been keeping up with my videos, that brings my season total to 178-93, which, if you ask me, is pretty damn good for your average Joe.
I know you. You know you. And I know you know that I know you.
This week is a little special as it's the start of the playoffs. Obviously, these videos won't be nearly as long as my other weekly picks videos, but I'll still do something a little bit special here. As you see on my screen, we have the full playoff bracket. So I'll do something a little bit different. Every week, I'll predict that week's games, and I'll also try and predict the rest of the playoff bracket along with it. For example, this week I'll predict all the wild card games, and then I'll try to predict the divisional matchups, the conference matchups, and of course the Super Bowl. And then next week, once we have all the divisional matches set up, I'll predict those, the conference championships, and then the Super Bowl, and so on and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. Let's get right into it, because I've got to edit this video still, and I'm going to try and post it before Friday night, and it's already Friday afternoon. All right, here we go. Here we go. Start with the AFC, and then I'll move over to the NFC. First up, we have the number 2 seed New England Patriots hosting the number 7 seed Los Angeles Chargers. Yes, I know the Patriots have a much better record and finished as the number 2 seed, although let's face it, their schedule wasn't all that tough at all. But I've always been one to say you play who you play, and your one job is to win those games. And surely enough, the Patriots have won most of those games. Whereas the Chargers had a little bit of a tougher schedule, being in the AFC West and all. The Patriots, at least mostly in full strength, whereas Herbert is still dealing with a hand injury. However, obviously after weeks and weeks and a week 18 rest, should be a lot better. But they're still without both left tackles, so I can totally see the Patriots pass rush giving Herbert a little bit of trouble. But we've also seen Herbert escape many sacks this season. Call me crazy, I think the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh obviously have a lot more playoff experience, whereas Drake May and most of the rest of those Patriots rosters do not have much playoff experience. So call me crazy, call me a freaking madman. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers in an absolute upset. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Buffalo Bills, and I know everyone's saying that without Lamar Jackson, without Joe Burrow, without Patrick Mahomes, this is absolutely the year for Josh Allen and the Bills to finally make a Super Bowl. However, they're going on the road versus probably the hottest team, if not one of the hottest teams that finished the season this year. I'm talking about the Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence has been playing lights out of his mind. Definitely put himself in the MVP conversation throughout that last month of the season, or at least I think so. They've been blowing some really good teams out of the water, winning the games they have to win. I think at home, Jacksonville is actually going to win this one. Next up, we have the Houston Texans going into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Now, if you ask me, I think it's a little surprising. Most people have the Steelers winning this game. I think they're absolutely crazy. I don't think the Steelers offense can match well with this Texans defense. I think they're going to continue that 9-game win streak right into the divisional matchup, especially since their offense is playing a lot better of late. So give me Houston to be the second away team to win in this wild card round. Off to the NFC side, we got the Green Bay Packers going into Chicago to play the Bears. Now, I know the Packers, at least for the most part, had the Bears numbers this season. And although, yes, the Bears did beat the Packers last time they played, they kind of needed a miracle to do so. This weekend in Chicago, I don't think they're going to need that miracle this time. I think Chicago's going to win easily. After that, we got the 49ers heading into Philadelphia at the Link to play my Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds!
E-A-G-L-E! Yes, Eagles!
I think considering the Eagles are at home and their defense has been absolute championship caliber, and considering what the Seahawks defense was able to do versus San Francisco in San Francisco, I think the Eagles offense, all they really got to do is score 20 to 24 points, which I think they can do, and they're going to walk away with this win going into the divisional round. Last but not least, we have the Los Angeles Rams going into Carolina again to play the Panthers. Now, we all know what happened in their first matchup this season. The Panthers were able to pull off a huge upset. Matthew Stafford throwing 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. So I think the Panthers were a nice little story this season, but I think that story ends this weekend. I think the Rams are going to absolutely pummel the Panthers. So those are my wild card picks off to the divisional round, and let's try to predict the rest of this playoffs. As you can see, we have 3 divisional matchups in the divisional round, which is kind of pretty awesome considering it's called the divisional round. First up, we have the Chargers versus the Broncos. I think the Chargers season is going to end here. I think at Denver. Considering Denver's defense, their pass rush is absolutely relentless. I think this is where the Chargers' offensive line buckles and comes back to bite them in the ass. Give me Denver at home. Next divisional round matchup, we have the Houston Texans going into Jacksonville. And as much as I love the Jaguars this season, how freaking good they've been the last month, this is where I see their season coming an end, which is no shame considering your first-year head coach and Liam Cohen absolutely brought this Jaguars team back to relevance. However, I just think that Texans defense is just far, far too strong, even if the Jaguars offense has been prolific. So give me Houston here to win and make it to the AFC Championship, playing the Denver Broncos. That brings us to the NFC side, where we have our third divisional round matchup in Los Angeles, heading back to Seattle for the rubber match against the Seahawks. Now, we all know absolutely how crazy that last Rams Seahawks game was, especially with that 2-point conversion fumble attempt that ended up being good. Round 1 slightly went to the Rams, and that's mostly because Darnold, I believe, threw 4 interceptions that game. Frankly, I just do not see Seattle making a huge comeback again. I think the Rams are going to be out for revenge. I don't think Darnold's going to be playoff caliber ready. I think he might choke again. We'll see, though. But for now, give me the Rams to go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks. Okay, our only divisional round matchup, we have Philly going into Chicago this time, because we all know they played in Philly last time they played this season, where, I might add, Chicago basically ran for 300 yards on the Eagles defense, which is pretty freaking insane. The Eagles hadn't done that in decades prior to that game. And I think it's going to be another few years at least until that happens again. I think our defense, again, is absolutely top-notch, championship caliber ready, possibly even better than last season. I love where the Bears are going. I think they have a super bright future with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. I just don't think that defense is up to par, so give me Philadelphia on the road this time, beating the Chicago Bears. Which brings us to the conference championship round, where we have one matchup no one saw coming and another matchup I think everyone saw coming, or at least everyone kind of wanted to see again. I'm talking about the Houston Texans going into Denver to play the Denver Broncos, and the Los Angeles Rams, even though they have a better record because they're the lower seed, they're going back to Philly to play the Eagles, where the Eagles absolutely have had their number the last few seasons. Starting with the Houston Texans versus Denver Broncos, I know that Houston Texans defense is absolutely insane, and I think they can beat anybody on any given day. Problem is, the Broncos defense is just as good. Their pass rush is just as good, if not better. They have the most sacks in the league this season. I think considering it's at home, and we all know that Houston has a knack for choking in the playoffs, give me a shocker here. I'm actually surprisingly going to go Denver to make it to the Super Bowl. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, it all depends on the weather at this time of year, what I think might happen in this game. As I've said, the Eagles have absolutely had the Rams number in the last few seasons. However, I'm sure you all thought I was going to pick the Eagles here, but surprise to you all, I'm actually going to go with the Los Angeles Rams to beat the Philadelphia Eagles finally, making it to the Super Bowl, especially if it's not a bad weather game. which honestly breaks my heart because there was nothing I'd love more to see the Eagles go back to back. However, I am honest. I gotta be realistic. I do not see the Rams losing back to back to back to back to back games versus the Eagles, especially considering the Eagles offense is average at best, or at least I should say inefficient, because there's so many 3-and-outs. There's the whole halves we don't even score a freaking field goal. I just don't think that's gonna cut it in the playoffs unless Kevin Patullo absolutely shocks us all and was just saving everything he had in the bag for the playoffs. But we've been down that road before in 2023. Granted, I know our defense was a billion times worse that year, but we've been down this road. Give me, unfortunately, the Los Angeles Rams to make it to the Super Bowl. So right now, my prediction for February 8th Super Bowl, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Los Angeles Rams. We have one team I'm absolutely shocked made it to the Super Bowl in Denver Broncos, and another team where I'm not surprised at all was able to make it to the Super Bowl in the Los Angeles Rams. As good as the Denver Broncos defense has been this season, and even last season, to be honest, I just think this Rams team overall is a much more complete team. I think Matthew Stafford is absolutely the MVP of this season, even though, like I said, I will not complain if Drake May does end up winning. But for Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, give me the Los Angeles Rams to win the Super Bowl on a division rival's home turf. Matthew Stafford gets his second Super Bowl win, absolutely placing his name in Canton, Ohio, cementing his Hall of Fame legacy, and the Rams get their third overall Super Bowl. Congratulations, Los Angeles Rams, at least for now, because this might and probably will change. Anyways, thank you so much. I know it's a much quicker video this week, but again, there's not that many games in the playoffs. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. I'm sure we're all sad the season's coming into an end soon, but don't worry, guys. Only 7 more months till next season. All right, everyone, enjoy Wild Card Weekend. I hope your team wins and have a good weekend. I'll see you guys next week for my next videos. Have a good night. Or if you're watching this in the morning, have a good morning and day. Let's enjoy some goddamn Wild Card football.